Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us on another terrific Thursday edition of Talk Today. And in the studio, Dr. Shreya joins us. And we want to invite you to be a part of a conversation that allows us to think, perhaps recognize that there are some sensitive topics that are only better discussed when you're in the presence of competent people who are committed to a cause that allows people to truly appreciate the importance of meaningful discussion. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Dr. Shreya for joining us. I think oftentimes we're not prepared for certain discussions and certain not of the discussions publicly, and those are the things that we probably need to do. So a professional like yourself, not just on your personal capacity, but in your professional setting, may allow us to appreciate how important it is that through that education and information, that discussion and dialogue, we can get to a space where people are laboring on the false pretenses, we're willfully and consciously blind or unwilling to engage, and ignorance isn't bliss. So welcome. Thank you for accepting the invitation. How are you today?
I'm good, and thank you for having me and saying such kind words for me.
Well, kindness begets kindness, respect begets respect. But I think if we can not just be positive, but honest, truthful, seek out that thing. I am reminded by many that there are some cultures who practice very deliberately that as they going to wake in the morning, God's prayer if they're awake, they're going to wake up positive. They're going to position their minds that they are going to approach life with this sense of they're going to embrace it, as opposed to being miserable and things. And if you do that, maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly believe if you have that mindset, my uncle, he still miss him much, man. He always said mind over matter, and it's so true. Your mind is so powerful. I believe you can will things into being. Yeah. At least I believe that. Anyway, it's just my belief, right?
No, I believe that too.
Yeah. There you see that. I can't be that fool. The scripture says, speak it into being. So we can will things. We can choose to be positive. Doesn't mean that it's always good, but we can't embrace. We should have the strength to endure.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, right?
Yeah, we can create what we think.
We can create what we think.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. I believe that.
You can create anything however you picture yourself.
But does that mean, as we talk about it, does that mean then that in creating what we think, we also have to act? We got to be conscious. We just can't sit there and think. We also have to do.
Yes, we have to act, and then thinking is also like action. Sometimes you can't think. You have to push yourself to think positive, because negative, thoughts come in, and then you have to train yourself to just how to think positive.
Yeah. Huh.
That's hard work.
That's hard work. It is hard work. And people, maybe not everywhere, but I know from experience in Cayman, they see you smiling, they see you happy, they go, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And they don't think that you have challenges, right? I sit here today and, I didn't spend, my father's oldest brother passed last evening. I didn't spend any great time with him, right? But it's somebody that you love, admire, respect, and the joy he brought. The fact that he got to live to 103, that itself, I think, is a gift from God, right? But it also reminds you how life passes. It may be a day, it may be a century, but life will pass. And what is it they say? Don't engage in that thing that takes your breath away, or what is it? But in that thing that it'll come back to me.
Yeah.
In the moments that leave you so spellbound that you remember it, right? We're not engaged in life, man. We're not appreciative.
Yeah. So I always say that there are two things that cannot come back, or even money cannot buy that. One is a time. One is your health. So you need to prioritize these two things in your life.
Time and your health.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't pay attention to either one there, except time. Time, my dad says, waits for no one. You can't buy a nanosecond, no matter your wealth. But yet we're disrespectful of our use of time and others' time. So it matters. Make hay while the sun shines, I say.
Yeah, you have to prioritize these two things and work towards them. And money will come, because many people prioritize money. But if you have these two things under control, I'm sure money's going to come to you.
But is it then that we can have those two things, time and your health, under control? Because, time ticks, right? It doesn't stop for no one. It
doesn't stop, but you can choose how you spend it. If you can spend it on your health, you can spend it on learning something new, you can read something, or you can just scroll through your social media. So it depends on how you are actually utilizing it.
I think that's probably why I offend someone those that are closest to me. Like that thing, social media. I find it to be one of the biggest waste of times. It can be useful, connecting with people, reminiscing and so on. But if you're not careful, 6 hours would have passed and you have known you have to go use the bathroom. All of a sudden that pain in your bladder that you just ignored, and you just sat there and you all crunched up and you feel like your neck is in a knot and your hands are, because you just sat there. 6 hours of wasted time.
Yeah, it is.
That to me, maybe I'm being harsh, but that's the biggest waste of time.
You can limit your entertainment time. Like, just say you need entertainment as well. It's not every time you need to learn something. You need to entertain yourself. But you can limit that time to maybe 1 hour.
Okay.
Not just doing that whole your life.
All right. And I know in my mind, and as I think, hopefully usually before I talk, and then considering today's discussion, how I felt. But if I made an ask, and I'll try to tie all this in at some point, God's willing, that 6 hours of mindless, numbness, dumbness, of scrolling through foolishness, versus 6 hours of you sitting with somebody, spouse, sibling, your child, your student, your whatever, and you just having a wonderful laugh and chat. It's still 6 hours. Why is that time with that person so much, well, hopefully for me anyway, so much better than that few seconds of that dumbness, I call it?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because that's meaningful.
Okay.
Because it's meaningful. You're spending time with your partner or your children, and that creates memories. Scrolling does not create any kind of memories. Spending time with other people, they create memories which you will remember even when the time passes.
I heard it said, and I'm sure where it was credible enough for me to think, oh, it's probably true. They've discovered that if you're on your dumb device and you're scrolling left to right in our part of us, so you're going left to right, like you would the pages of a book, you didn't spend as much time, you weren't as engrossed and distracted and dumbed down as if you were scrolling top to bottom, up and down. So they designed and redesigned it so that that's the way you did it, because that keeps you going. And I thought they learned enough about your brain to create the algorithm to change how you do, to steal more of your most precious commodity, time. Yeah. And yet we're fooled by it.
It does, but then are you aware of this fact?
I am. And that's where I know that I offend people. You know, we're sitting there chatting and they pick up the phone, and I do it sometimes because, like Pablo, the dog, you know, they chimes and I pick it up. And I go, ooh. And then I say, hey, let's put it down. And it doesn't matter how important your job is. Sometimes you need to put it aside and say, hey, you got 15 minutes? Let's take a time out. Yeah. But to ask someone to do that, and more important, to ask yourself to do that, you almost feel as if you committed the cardinal sin. Wow.
It feels like that.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
Well, with that in mind, and as we come back from the break, the discussion that we're going to sort of engage is one that we see in other jurisdictions. I don't want to say experiment, but perhaps implement. Some with limited success, some with questionable success, some without any question at all, and we're not sure how it affects. Through you, I would love to understand more. I'll be guided by you relative to not just the emotional components that may come into play, but what are some of the, not just academic, but actual implications. Could we do that? And then you introduce the subject.
Yes.
All right. I brought a pen and I got a scratch pad, and I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to try hopefully make good use of this time.
Yeah, sure.
All right. All right. Dr. Shreya is in the studio. Boy, and if you ever have the opportunity to be in a company of good people who are willing to teach, all you got to do is pay attention. You might actually learn. At least that's how I find it. So join us after the break.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Here's a COC storm tip. Ensure your battery packs and electronic devices are always charged prior to a storm approaching. Keeping your kids entertained during a storm is one thing less you need to worry about. With COC, you've got the power.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. We want you to And not only engage in a conversation and ask questions and comment as you wish, 949-8037, 949-6990. You can WhatsApp call. What's the number, Miss Susan? 925-32621. And then guess what? She's telling me that the toll-free line is working. All 5 lines are up for everybody, I'm told. We need to find out for sure. 1-800-534-8255. Dr. Shreya joins us. And, well, again, thanks for coming. What is our topic today? What are we talking about? Let's tell people.
So we're going to talk about the effectiveness of a child. I'm not going to say child, but sex offenders registry. Like, are they effective or not effective?
Right.
Or should we have them or not have them?
And I appreciate that because it's not just, as you shared, we're not going to be talking about having it or not having it, but the effectiveness.
Yes.
And there are those who. So, what is, for those of us who know, what would constitute a sex offenders registry? What is that? How does that come about normally?
Yeah. So sex offenders registry is a national level registry that is maintained by some of the jurisdictions, which had names of individuals who have been convicted of sexual offenses. And your name can stay there up till 10 years, 15 years, even 20 years. And some are barred from taking their name off it. And it's a registry. So one is registry, another is notification.
Okay.
So registry is a register where anybody can go and check for someone's name is there or not. And then notification is when you send out a notification to public that this person's name is on the registry or there are new names on the registry.
Okay.
So these are a few of the measures that has been put in place.
Okay. And a sex offenders registry, for that to come into being in a jurisdiction, can anybody set it up? Does it have to set up by legislation? From your experience, I mean, how does that come into being?
It has to be by legislation. Nobody can just go in and start a registry.
Okay, yeah. So I couldn't, as an individual, say, I'm going to set up a website, put names on it.
No.
Even if I went to the courts and I got public documents.
Yeah, no.
You know, okay.
No, it has to be set up, like it's a national thing. And it takes a lot of effort to maintain that registry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Again, to your knowledge, from your experience, just usually, how does that work? So it's set up. Is it? Well, how is it maintained? Who maintains it? Who sets it up? Who administers it? Normally, where would that sort of responsibility fall?
Generally, it's the national level. Government will maintain the registry. I'm not sure which department will do it, but because we don't have it in here, but it's generally the government who does it. And once you are convicted of any sexual offense, your name goes in the registry. Okay. And anybody can access that registry.
It becomes a public document.
Yes.
The name of the person, and maybe depending from what I've read, what the legislation would prescribe, who sets it up, under where it falls, how it's accessed, and the like.
Yes.
And then,
and if there is notification attached to it or not.
What do you usually? Okay, well, actually, before let me jump back. So, does the registry, whether notifications attached to it, you just shared, but what does that mean? So, if there is a notification attached to it, what does that mean?
A notification is notification to the public that these are the people who have been added to the list. So every time there's somebody added, a notification goes out to public.
Right. Yeah. And then if there isn't a notification attached to it, there's a registry, names added to it, but unless someone, whether individually or whether through the media, accesses, you wouldn't know that there was 4 names added to it. Would it also act in reverse? So a name has been deleted from the registry. Would that, if there's a notification, would that also go out to the public if a name is deleted?
Yes, if there is notification attached, then it would. Yes.
Okay. And then for sexual offenders, is there sort of criteria as to what would constitute that to end up having that person's name added to the registry?
So it's just the people who have been arrested. So individuals who are convicted of sexual offenses, people who has already done their jail time, they are added to the registry.
Right. So it's on conviction, not
it's
not
on
arrest,
conviction.
not charge, but conviction.
Yes.
Okay. And then I gather that some jurisdictions, well, actually no, let me ask. If a jurisdiction has a register and the person's name is on it, that person moves to another jurisdiction, is it then that jurisdiction has to be notified, or only if that jurisdiction has a registry?
It depends upon the jurisdiction, if they have a registry or not, if they follow that kind of culture or not.
Okay.
So in the United States, every state has a registry. So once they add someone, or they actually notify each other.
Yeah. So you can move from one part, say East Coast to West Coast, or vice versa. Your name is moved from this registry, and it was also added to the next, right?
Yes, it stays in the registry. You can access it because if you know that in United States they can just search your name and you know what has been going on. Is their name on registry or not?
Okay, and then for some it's forever, can't be removed, as you said. Some maybe after 10, 15.
That's quite rare, but yes.
Yeah. All right. The effectiveness of registries. So we said we wanted to chat about that and whether we should. I'm going to be guided by you. I appreciate your professionalism and the sort of, I don't want to say dispassionate approach, but more than academic, so people can start to think, well, it's not an emotive response. There are reasons for it, there are reasons not. There are things to consider, the why and the wherefores, so there's not just an emotional response in favor or against. From your perspective in research?
So these kind of policies that are in place to manage offenders are mainly by public opinion.
Yeah.
So public opinion is to have these kind of registries, whether or not they are effective or not. They are quite driven by public opinions and reactions that they want to have a registry, but they are not aware about if it is effective or not.
Is there any research that would indicate as to whether they're effective or not?
Yeah, so there is a research. I read a research which was 25-year-long meta-analysis that suggests that it has not been that effective, but still it is popular by public demand that they want to have a registry. But it shows that it is not very effective in recidivism because what you want is these people to not reoffend. But it has been seen that most people who are now added to the list are the people who are new. They are not the people who are reoffending.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the existing sort of names that have been there forever.
Yes. So it's not them who is doing sexual offenses. It's always new people who is doing them.
Yeah. Huh. And so that level of potential deterrence may or may not cause people, because their name is going to be on this list, to behave the way they behave and end up where they are and end up on the, being convicted.
Yes.
Huh.
And because more and more things have been added to the registries, so people are staying there longer and longer. So when they're staying there longer and longer, they think that they are law-abiding citizen after they come from the prison, but then that doesn't make sense for them.
That the sort of stigma that label has in their minds probably just go with them. Even if they want to move 5,000 miles away to get away from it, they want to restart. They feel that they have rehabilitated. But this thing could potentially just... okay.
Yeah, and it has also been seen that these people are being harassed. Because they are on the registry, so they are being harassed. There is less of employment options for them. So the reintegration to the society is a great issue for these individuals.
Okay. And then if there's question as to how effective it is, it might be. I wonder whether today or another time, and whether there's research, I wonder if there are other alternatives that may achieve not just deterrence, but rehabilitation, if that's possible. Are there anything that you've come across that could be as effective or more effective than a registry?
So yeah, there had been some research on it. So like their education of the public is number one, and then it's the people who offend. For their reintegration, they go through some kind of intervention for their reintegration. These are some ways that have been more effective.
Okay. We had a question off air that asks, if a person is on the registry, assume there's one in place, then the person is there, then the person passes away. Does that name always remain, or because the person has passed, the name would then also be deleted, or will it be there forever?
I actually do not have an answer for that now, but I can look into it.
Yeah, I didn't. That's a good question. I didn't even think. In preparation for our discussion, I thank a couple of my friends who were in that field that you were in, psychology, and like I said, discussions coming up. There's a lot of emotion, in this, and even reading sometimes I don't know about anybody else, but you feel kind of
yes.
And so I wanted to ask them, how do I go about having this discussion and what does it mean? And they shared a few things and, issues of this person is on the registry. As much as other family members may not be connected to that person, they're also affected by it. What does that mean? And I think it's the emotional response. One individual said it's not anywhere near as important as this, but they said if a society has the ethos where we don't litter or we don't smoke in this space, she gave an example, and there was legislation, I think in Canada, the people I spoke, hopefully I got the right people with the right information, that was passed that said you don't smoke in a vehicle with anyone under 18. But if the society has as its ethos certain things, the behavior of business people relative to their ethics, and if they don't the society sort of, joins and says, nope, bad boy. If that is what a society's ethos is, her view will be much better across the board than any kind of legislation. Another one countered and said, well, how do you get to that space? Because if everybody was good and nice and got along, we would have the need for much of the things, including laws. Interesting discussion.
Yeah, it is. If you have, if there is something that people, they have, like you say, ethos, they have, but it can negatively impact the person who is on the registry. It is a controversial topic, and it has been it's raised a concern for the constitutional rights for privacy as well.
Okay. And then I could, all right, we're at that scheduled break. Let's pause. We'll come back. Join us. And for those who are listening, please feel free to ask questions, comment, and share your thoughts. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Do you want to have a say in the development plan for the Cayman Islands? Well, the next Plan Cayman public consultation meeting will take place tonight, Thursday, July 18th, from 7 until 9 p.m. in East End at the William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center. You can tune into Radio Cayman as we broadcast the Plan Cayman public consultation live from 7 p.m. tonight. The consult will focus on the 2024 draft planning statement. You can view the planning statement at www.plancayman.ky and share your feedback at tonight's public meeting in East End, which will be carried live right here on Radio Cayman from 7 until 9 p.m.
Our rich and diverse natural environment is one of our most important assets. Strong coral reefs are our first line of defense against intense storm waves. Healthy seagrass beds and mangrove forests provide a nursery for the sea creatures we depend on, while our native forests stimulate our rain cycles and help to control inland flooding. Economic resilience requires environmental resilience.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Dr. Shreya for coming here and helping us to start to recognize that these discussions are not just in our jurisdiction. There are other places. Legislation has been employed, research. You talked about a 25-year study. For those who are joining us, that is not Cayman data. Yes. We're still relatively young in our research and our data analysis and collection. But data that is empirical has been, what do they say, peer-reviewed, perhaps can allow us to at least start a discussion. So thanks for that. Is there a call, Miss Susan? No, not yet. Okay, we were, for the WhatsApp call that came through, please, if you wish to try back. Sometimes you click the button and it doesn't answer, or you think you answered it. So the WhatsApp number is 925-3261. The toll-free line, 1-800-534-TALK. That's 1-800-534-8255. Can I read?
Yes, sure.
We got a WhatsApp, and sorry, I should have cleaned these. These glasses need cleaning. Susan, you need to clean my glasses? Whoa. They're not clean at all. All right, as we talk to Dr. Shreya, this guy says that, we were wrong in saying that they're not reoffending. Just take that part. We're saying clarify that, what you shared, because that's not quite what you said.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they do not reoffend, but the research shows that most of the people coming out being abusive or perpetrators are new persons and not the people who reoffend. It does not mean that everybody is not reoffending. There are some people who would reoffend. And that brings me to another point where the registry itself is not effective in that manner because it puts everybody on one shoe. And one size does not fit everybody. Everybody is not a high-risk person. So some people who are low risk. And how do we make that distinction? And that is the conversation.
Okay. All right. So this listener messages and says, not referring, we're using overseas study.
Yes.
We did say that.
We did say that. This is a U.S., United States statistics. The study was done in United States and not in the Cayman.
So the listener is correct. This is not Cayman data, like much data in Cayman we don't have. Many in a small society with no travel ability will and do reoffend. It continues, it says, the worst serial rapist was released a month ago, and the Radio Cayman News report stated that they reoffended within 24 hours. This person has committed multiple violent rapes, each after release from prison again, and was caught stalking children on the beach. How do we, when that sort of behavior is in an individual, maybe there are other things. I know, and again, through you, just generally speaking, other jurisdictions have looked at castration, have done different things in an attempt to see what they can do to either rehabilitate, mitigate, or somehow just prevent. I don't know how successful. You want to speak to that at any point?
Yeah, so registry and notification is one thing that other jurisdictions do, but there are other things that they do is chemical castration that you were talking about. And then they have these GPS tracking systems.
Oh, okay.
So GPS tracking, you can track that person, and then there is residential restrictions placed.
So very limited movement where you can stay and things.
So if you actually identify someone as a high-risk individual, and if you see that this person is reoffending, you can probably have a GPS tracker for that person.
Okay. Brings in a lot of questions. I think we have a caller on the WhatsApp, Dr. Shreya. I don't know. That looks cool on you.
Really?
Susan's like, yeah, it looks good on me too, right? All right, we talked to Dr. Shreya. We're just speaking about a sexual offenders registry, the effectiveness or none. So of it, as we go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. And afternoon to the doctor as well.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for your call.
Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah. I really do find interest in this discussion because I've been supporting the sex offender registry thing because really and truly, I don't know why is it that it is not being more seriously considered and pushed a little bit harder. You know, I understand from some cases they are concerned about some people, because it's just only some people, and they are concerned about some people and their mental state in the position that they hold and whatnot, right? But I don't think that anybody should be exempt from that behavior, in my opinion.
Right. If I may ask then, from your perspective, your opinion, there's a registry, people's names on it, both offenders and people who live here, people who come here, whether visit or live, they have to be notified and like, in your view, how effective do you think that would be in, one, deterring people from that behavior, because they're going to end up on this list, another good list, and two, how safe do you think that makes a society? The person is now on a list and you can go and it's published and everybody knows. How effective do you think that is at keeping people safe and deterring people, the would-be offender? In your opinion, if you might ask.
I would say, if for the deterring part, it would work if the message is gotten out clearly, and by it being clearly, that should be stated on every prison. For example, in every prison that there is in the world, I think, even like including talking about Cayman. If it was to be that, okay, I remember when I was in jail, I remember when I went to prison, they had that thing with the marijuana, for example. They were talking and discussing about decriminalization. Everybody in the prison heard about that. Nobody could tell me they never heard about that. And what happened is, right, if they put this sex offender registry, it will be a message as well to the prisoners that, hey, this is what we got going on. And if you feel like you're exempt from this policy, try it. And I think that for the deterrent part, it's just like the police lights on the road. If you see the police lights on the road out there, you're not gonna go that direction, right? It'll deter you. Of course, it will deter the problem. So, in other words, now the other question, I think that it would be good for us to do that. And to me, I don't think if it should matter if it affects anyone mentally. It should actually encourage them to not do it. Just straight up. The message is there. Yeah.
I appreciate you having
it's just straightforward. Yeah. It's a deterrent. It's a very good deterrent, because nobody wants to be on a public register, especially for something like that, much less even for murder or stealing. You know how ridiculed people get when they do stealing? They actually turn their life around and probably try to, behave themselves. I've seen it.
Right. If I'm inferring from what you're sharing, it would seem that you're of the view that a society that has this mindset that, listen, we're not going to accept certain behaviors. It could be chewing gum in the public, littering, not walking your dog, muzzle and leash, whatever that is, not speeding. If that society's ethos is such that that's the things that we accept and don't, and if you don't, society will punish you, ostracize you, that would be effective.
Yes, very much. Okay. It's just like public humiliation.
Right.
Nobody wants to be hung in public if they had that law, right?
Right. So how do we get to that space? Because, you and I and most people might not do certain things because we don't want that public humiliation. And some people mightn't care less. Oh, I don't care what you think. I got to do what I got to do.
Well, for those who don't care, the truth hurts. And I have this saying, and if the truth kills, let them die.
Okay. All right.
It might sound a little radical, but here we've been trying so many things. And like I said, Mr. Sterling, I believe in Cayman kindness, but Cayman don't come with too much kindness.
Well, maybe it does, but maybe not, from one to the other. But all right, what else you want to share with us?
We can't be too kind and worry about people's mental state, especially when they're messing around with other people's mental state.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. So what goes good for the goose goes good for the gander. I think if the rest of the world has done it and it showed an improvement like what this lady is saying, I think it should just be considered and just say, you know what? Nothing beats a person than someone that doesn't try. I mean, let's just try it.
Yeah, man.
Let's just try it. And if it doesn't work, then let's see if we can make any improvements and not just like give up on it. Like how some of these people, they run for politics and then the minute that they lose, they don't go back again. Well, let's just keep the determination. Yeah. I'm always that type of person that try to encourage something.
Positive, determined, purposeful. Thanks, man. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Dr. Shreya, if you wish to add anything as we go into the break.
So I'm not completely denying that we should not have a registry. I'm just opening everybody's minds to that it might not be as effective as they think it is.
Right.
Because, like I said, that it is driven mainly by public opinion and not by evidence-based.
Okay. Which is key. So I'm hoping people understand that we're not advocating for or against. We're just asking, how effective? Is there something more effective? What are the drivers?
Yes.
What will be the outcome of doing or not doing, and the like. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have the news break already. I'll share one or two more messages from our message system. For those that are listening, we're talking about Sex Offenders Registry. I invite you to join the discussion if you want to WhatsApp or call 925-3261. You can call us toll free 1-800-534-8255. And if you're not sure what number to call another number to get a number to call in this number. Stay tuned for Dr.
We are Radio Cayman.
Covering Cayman Right, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. Tortuga Rum Company, the official distributor for Coca-Cola in the Cayman Islands, announces Renee Reed from Northside is the winner of the Coca-Cola Olympic Games Paris 2024 giveaway. In international news, artificial placentas and wombs could save the lives of premature babies, but what ethical considerations must be addressed before human trials begin? It sounds like a plot straight out of a bad science fiction movie. Human babies taken from their mother's wombs and grown inside fluid-filled pods instead. Yet, that is exactly what scientists at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania in the U.S. propose doing for infants at risk of extreme prematurity. They are developing what they refer to as an artificial womb or extrauterine environment for newborn development, to be precise. Extend is not intended to grow a fetus from conception to birth. That would be impossible, even if it was desirable. Instead, it is intended to help boost the survival rate of extremely premature infants who face a plethora of possible health effects throughout their lives. Cambodia has welcomed 60 baby Siamese crocodiles, a hatching record for the endangered species in this century, conservationists say. They have called it a real sign of hope after more than 20 years of efforts to revive the reptile's numbers in the remote Cardamom Mountains. The olive-green freshwater reptile has a distinct bony crest at the back of its head. By some estimates, it can grow up to 3 meters or nearly 10 feet. Locals discovered 5 nests in May, and the baby crocs were born at the end of June. Those are your latest headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Residents of Boddentown, we want to hear from you. As HSA plans to expand our services and facilities in the Eastern Districts, we want to give you a chance to tell us what services you'd like offered in Boddentown so that we can best serve our community. We invite you to complete our brief online survey by visiting hsa.ky or the Boddentown Health Center for more details. At HSA, we remain committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to Dr. Shreya for joining us. To our callers, we're talking about the Sex Offenders Registry, the effectiveness of one, whether we should or shouldn't, and the like, and what it means to have it. We do have another caller join us, Dr. Shreya, as we go to the phones. Thank you so much for calling. Welcome.
Mr.
My friend, how are you today?
All right, you're feeling the heat.
Well, I just, thanks to the government for paying the electric bill and for the maintenance on the AC people at Public Works. We turned the AC down pretty cold, man, because it was hot outside. So I feel for you, but boy, in here is nice and cool.
That's good, man. That's good, man.
It is, my friend. How are you, man? How are you?
All right. So I listening, you saying registering for sex offenders, right? Or trying, or think about it. Well, I'll show you what I think about it.
Uh-huh.
So it should be the minimum of 25 years for any sex offender. And then after he served the full 25 years, he get registered as a sex offender and must go everywhere he is and let them know, or he must wear a name tag sex offender.
So the scarlet letter?
Yeah, because number one, I can get 10 years for a guarantee. I can get 10 years for holding a gun. But like these sex offenders, they get the minimum type of things, plus they want to get rehabilitation and all kind of things like that. Only God knows where they came from. They think that it's right to molest a child. I don't know where they get that from, or to rape a woman, or you understand?
Yeah, man.
So minimum 25 years to the most.
Yeah, I'll read in a minute what some listeners have shared, and you can stay on a second. And this is, I think, what we shared. Public opinion. I'll read in emotion. This is emotionally charged. It's driven by our emotions. I'm going to be careful that I don't sound unprofessional, but preparing for this, it drives a lot of emotions in you, and you feel a certain way. And I don't want to say, but
it does.
Yeah.
Out of any kind of crime, these kinds of crime, ignites that kind of emotion in you, and you just feel like you said.
Yeah.
You would agree to any punitive, sentence to anyone.
Right. So, my friend, as you called it, I mean, you're saying 25 years, put a sign on them. They have to go around like that. Do you think that will work? Or do you think it would deter? I mean, how do we make people understand that this is what, what's going to be the consequence? I mean, what else you want to share?
Well, I mean, what else? Well, you can check it out. Well, we've been so kind of hypnotized that, that is nothing because, what the church do it. And don't tell me I'm wrong. You know how many sex cases has been out from churches all over the world, especially when they had them American Indians. They were trying to teach them not of the Apache way, of the Mohican way, the Navajo way, but to follow a Christian way. And in that Christian way, they were sexually abused and nothing happened to them. And so you can say it's almost been like, that's normal, that's no big deal. Maybe it was the child's fault.
Yeah.
You understand?
Well, we see that, across Europe. We saw it in Canada. And even we have nice, innocuous sounding names for these care homes where they put, in the first nation and the behaviors that they endured. So you are right, sir. I mean, you are right. But
so let them go with just going around saying I'm a sex offender, and then that guy Epstein or whatever, he abused the lower parts of the the world, the poorest, the most vulnerable. So when you see those kind of things, you can almost understand that it's normalized and why. No, she not preaching it, but she probably maybe we could just register him or whatever, because maybe she been normalized too. But back in the day they would get stoned or they would get whipped or they would been castrated before. You understand?
Yeah, man.
No, nothing wrong with 25 years.
Well, I hear you, man. I hear, and this is where I think discussions like this, because if the intent is first and foremost the safety and protection of people. And then if something occurs, whatever that is, there's rehabilitation. I imagine that would be the intent. Hey, thanks very much for sharing. Anything else you want to add?
To wait till they offend somebody, or would it be to prevent people from...
Yeah. Prevent, the protection and safety of society against any criminal act, and then perhaps the once that, if we have the protection, we don't need, prevention is better than cure, right? So we don't have to worry about that. But if someone does it, how do we punish that person? How do we rehabilitate that person? Yeah, you're right, man. That's what we should be doing. All right?
Thank you very much, Mr. Dwayne. Have a nice day.
You too, man. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. You have another call, Dr. Shreya.
Okay.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon, Jim. How are you?
Excellent. And yourself?
I'm doing okay. I'm just sort of catching the tail end, but I'm trying to understand what is the doctor offering any alternative?
Okay, we having.
Can't hear.
Yes. Okay, we're having a challenge hearing you. Would you try again? If you're on the speaker or something, I do apologize, but I'm not hearing you. Are you there? Is that better? Sorry, caller? Yeah, hello? All right. And respectful to that caller, maybe Miss Susan, she works magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't hear the person, and I've only discovered sometimes I'll stream to hear and I'll get it, but only to realize that that's because I'm conscious to trying to listen.
Mm-hmm.
But the guests can't hear, and worse, the listeners in whatever device can't hear, and then they're like, "What are you talking about? Talking to yourself?" And so I'm hoping that caller can call back, and I hope that there was no offense taken. Please try us back. What are the numbers I give Miss Susan? I should get Miss Susan to read the number. Come on, say them on the air for us. Let's hear a nice voice. 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8237. And 949-3261 is the WhatsApp call. I'm not trying to make light of anything, but got to be in. Dr. Shreya, you were sharing. You were gonna say something else, or should I read this comment?
No, you could go ahead.
Okay, read it. Thank you, Mom. So this came in prior to that caller, the gentleman that called, right? This person writes, castration or registers do not prevent serial child abusers or rapists. They have mental conditions which can only be cured by their death.
Mm-hmm.
The caller said 25 years and a sign. I'm not going to judge. I certainly don't want to impugn, but that's the emotion that
it does.
I feel. Maybe other people feel it but won't say it. This person, whomever he or she may be, writes it and says, that's the one who's going to cure it. And we know some politicians have put that forward because it wins, the sentiments and hearts of voters. It may or may not be sensible, but thank that person for sharing that, because that's how
they feel.
Yeah,
it's the level of emotion that comes out with that. Nobody wants their child to be in danger or have to go through all that. And I really understand that, we're trying to find a way which is the most effective and which can actually safeguard our children.
Yeah. We want to protect, our people.
Yeah.
And before I read another sentiment from one of our listeners, I just quickly asked, was 7 people, 6, when they hear of a sexual offenders registry, male or female, who's on it? All of them said male. Is it just for men, or is it?
Anybody who is convicted of sexual offense is on the registry.
Yeah. And someone said they did a cursory look at one register in the U.S. and I think it was all men, or it was predominantly men. So there were very few, for whatever reason. But our perception is this would be for men. But it would be for anyone who's convicted.
Yes.
Whether that's most of the men or not, for whatever reasons. All right?
Yes.
And that brings up a whole different idea. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but one individual of the little group I reached out to ask and helping navigate this discussion was of the view that the definition of sexual offense and rape and the like needed to maybe I rethink because of the nature of things.
Yes.
And even though we say that it's non-consensual, there's an element of penetration and the like, and can a woman rape a man, and what kind of man you are, because all these things that play into society. It's challenging.
Yeah, it is a challenge. So this is what we want to find out on high risk, low risk people. And I want to remind everybody that this registry is people who have been convicted for sexual offense. They have served their jail time. It's not those people who, you just do some offense and you're on the registry, they have done their sentencing.
Okay, so there would be, if I'm not misunderstanding, just for my edification, you said it's not a person who's arrested, it's not a person who's charged, it's one who's convicted.
Yes.
But is it convicted and then only after sentence?
Yes.
As they're released, they're going to register. So
Yes.
while they're in prison, serving that sentence, it doesn't come on the register until after.
Yes, so they are convicted and then they are entered in the register.
Okay. Could it be then, if I'm understanding from what I've read, the legislation setting up a registry can determine the operation, who maintains it, who accesses it, how we access it.
Yes.
If the legislation says upon conviction, your name automatically goes,
Yes.
then that would be different. So the legislation could be that thing that determines how to register.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And each jurisdiction may have its particular way that the registers are
maintained. Yeah.
Okay. Again, information and not just emotion.
Yes.
Could be what is
And
driven.
also if that registry is being accessed.
Okay.
Now, and that depends upon many factors.
Mhm.
The research shows that it's about age, your marital status, if you have kids or not, if you are a high income or a low income. So it depends upon these factors if it is being accessed or not.
And with that, then I could perhaps even ask, is it better that it's a public register and anybody goes on with or without a fee? Or is it that, like some registers, you can access it, but you have to pay a nominal fee? You have to send the request into an entity. A person is designated to look at it and then send it back. And you can't tell. It's just an inquiry. Is John on the register? And the person says, nope. But you can't see it. So how effective is that,
Yeah, because like I said, if there is a notification attached to it or not.
Right.
Yeah, and if you're going to access it or not. If it's just a registry and with no notification, you have to go and access it or ask for it. And it depends upon your legislation, how it is set up.
All right. As we speak to Dr. Shreya, we're talking about the sex offenders registry, the effectiveness of one, looking at other jurisdictions, studies across jurisdictions and the like. One of our listeners writes, what are the rights of victims? Why are they not informed when a rapist or a child abuser is set free and back to the same community? Would that be something that legislation would put in play to say, upon release, it's now published, this person is now, out of prison for however long, for whatever. Some would say yes, some would say, well, that only makes it, reduces the probability of,
It's similar to what we're talking about, a registry. If it's a notification, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If somebody's released and they're on the registry, people are notified that this person has been convicted of a sexual offense.
Okay, and not to go off on a tangent, but in my discussion, someone sort of made the analogy that this is potentially similar to the U.S. I don't know if other jurisdictions have it, but this 3 strikes rule, where you commit one offense, then you commit a second offense, then you commit a third offense, that automatically those 3 offenses ends you up in jail. It doesn't matter how serious the offenses were, or that last offense was very minor, but because you had 2, all of a sudden now you're a hardened criminal. Does that do anything to make society safe, or does that do anything to deter crime? There's 3 strikes and you're out. It's not a baseball game. Wow.
Yeah, it just depends upon, like I'm saying, sentiments. Like sexual offenses are more, they ignite more of emotional reactions from people. That kind of offense, they...
All right, so we're speaking to Dr. Shreya as we take the calls. One individual, this person says, and apologies, I'm not sure what happened to my phone, just wanted to know what the alternative to the sex offender registry is. I believe it is more to warn people than to prevent reoffending. If that caller can call back, certainly. If not, then we will read. So is there an alternative to the sex offender registry?
Yes, there are. Like I said, that the main purpose of a sex offenders registry is to prevent reoffense. Recidivism, and that what research shows, that it is not that effective as it is suggested.
Okay. one of the listeners says, no good rehabilitation programs exist. Got to blame the churches that counsel the prisoners and offenders.
Yeah, so that's where the investment should be, because even maintaining the register is hard work. A lot of resources are required for that. So if you put our measures or our money in preventative education and preventative measures, and then rehabilitation programs, that actually helps safeguard children more.
So, and that would perhaps be across anything, the rehabilitation, the preventative, but how do you prevent a person who, as this one says, may have a mental condition, may be, for whatever reason, inclined in that way? I mean, how do you...
So, like in Red Cross, we do very primary prevention where we educate the public about how to protect kids. And then while I was thinking on our future projects, I was researching and found this Stop It Now helpline, which is about people calling in if they are at risk of harming a child. Like if someone is having some kind of thoughts about and they have some concerns about their own behavior, and where would they go? They can call in the helpline and talk to people, and they do some kind of talk or do some intervention with them so that they change their behaviors.
Having an outlet. But that person then would have to be conscious of that behavior, that thought process, but also be inclined, be willing to do something. Are people that way? I mean, are people willing to seek help in order to prevent them from doing the thing that they feel like they want to do?
Like you said, consequences. If you do such kind of offense, you're going to have to serve jail. And then the emotion that you trigger in the public against you. I think these things can, can lead you to go and ask for help. But then, yes, marketing of that website and then everything of that program, how you make people aware of that kind of help that is available. So if they know that help is available, maybe they are reluctant at first, but then you educate people on that they can seek help.
As I just said, Dr. Shreya, I think, and please guide me, I think many of us were under this notion way back when, stranger danger. And so we were very, very acutely aware of that stranger. But a pastor once said, the people that take advantage of you most are the people closest to you. You don't let strangers in, you let friends in, you let family, let that familiar person. So in these instances, is it the stranger that's perpetrating this offense, or is it primarily that known person?
Yeah, so if you see the whole thing of this sex offenders registry is a stranger danger kind of stuff, that this person, you stay away from this person. But 90% of perpetrators are someone the kid would know. 90%.
Yeah, and this is a statistical fact from this.
Yes. Yeah. So 90% of perpetrators are someone they would know. They could be their neighbor, they could be their relatives, they could be their friends. So it's not someone who is a stranger. It's someone they know and they trust.
Yeah. We're not saying that strangers don't do, but 90% from the research, people that are known to the person or known to the family or is trusted by the person or by the family sufficiently to... I remember doing the Darkness to Light training, and it's a long time ago, and the tutor, for some, subject, the coach for some sport, the teacher for music, the piano lesson, where you and that person, and they said, we put that child in that space, and because it's, we don't want to disrupt other people, but you create an environment.
Yes.
So we need to figure out how not to do that.
Yeah, minimizing opportunity. So this training, Stewards of Children training by Darkness to Light, is just a basic training, but it opens your mind to that these people are your known.
Right.
And then how you minimize that danger for your children.
And I guess from that we've seen spaces where there's classrooms or I guess they call it passive supervision, where the wall may be a solid wall, but it's now glass, so that the sound isn't easily transmitted to adjoining room, but people can see in as well as people can see out.
Yes.
May serve as an aid in keeping people safe.
Yes. Yeah, so there are three things that is necessary for that is supervision, like you said. Then there is visibility that glass doors would serve, and then there is controlled access to any places where kids are. You have a control, you just don't let anybody go in.
Okay. And this is where, and it's a personal thing, partly from because of that training, and partly from just having good people around me who imparted good knowledge and good wisdom, and they said, you're a parent, you're an older sibling, you need to be responsible, accountable, you need to be present. And if you take the child somewhere, don't drop the child off, stay. If there's, and it doesn't have to be a child, and by that I mean anybody on 18, but if you're, if two of you go into the space, as opposed to one of you, the chances of your safety is increased.
Yes.
Two people walk into a car from, the evening out or from the shopping or from work, it's much safer statistically than that one person.
Yes, it is.
That's what statistics indicate, so apparently that's true. But yet we go alone.
Yeah, we go alone, but that's where education is really, really important, and that you're aware of what is actually working and what is actually not working.
Okay, so with sex offenders registry in different jurisdictions that have them, and with that 25-year study, I'm sure in the Cayman context, for many reasons, we've had these discussions, and there are many who I'm not going to say it in an exhaustive way, but I can't think of one person who would be opposed to it. So it seems to be something that we want because we think it helps, but does it? And I guess our discussion now would ask us, is it effective? And what would be better?
Yes.
Informing public policy. What would you say though? Because we're trying to figure this out, and I don't want to, speak with any authority, but this is very emotionally charged. I'm feeling it, but I'm trying not to. Now, what do we do? Because the public has seen where even the courts, there's a person before the court, public outcry. What? You only got 18 months, 2 years, 3 years? How can that be? Without knowing what was presented as evidence, irrespective of what the judge may have wanted, perhaps the legislation may have prescribed. This is what happens. But yet, if the public doesn't have an outcry, then nothing changes.
Yeah, it's how you strike a balance between these two things. But my concern is that if these things are working or not, what the evidence says.
Right.
It's not my personal opinion on if we should have a registry or we should not have. It depends on the effectiveness of it.
Yeah. And one of our listeners shares that in a small jurisdiction like Cayman, you have a registry. People gonna know people. You're gonna know not just the offender. You're gonna probably know a bit about whatever happened. So the impact could go beyond that person and everything else. Are those things that we should factor in?
Yes, it has been. It has seen that people who have been on the registry, they are being harassed. They don't have housing. They don't get employment, and that I think creates a sense of more against the society, and it can create more harm than it's doing good.
Okay, we see a WhatsApp call coming through. We'll see if we can answer that. We'll see. Hopefully, if that happens, can you answer it, Miss Susan? The WhatsApp call. Okay, so she sees it on her end. I see it on my end. She doesn't see it on hers. So, okay. All right. The individual that was just calling the 925-3261. Try back on WhatsApp if you can. If you call the regular cell call, we can answer it. And while that happens, let me then ask, then in the Cayman context, what would you say to us as a public when we consider something like this? And I make the analogy to the gentleman that called and said, you go to prison for smoking, ganja, marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want to call it. You come out, there's a stigma. You have a police record. Employment is an issue. Friends, family, and everybody looks at you in a certain way, and you will struggle. And that's for you doing something that you only did to yourself, and you have a hard time being accepted, getting employment, being given another chance. And yet.
So even people who are convicted of sexual crimes, they have a record. It's not that they don't have a record.
Right.
They have a record. And then I would say that we can have another measures in place, if not registry. It has not been, there has been few isolated studies that says that it is effective. There have been few, but there are quite few to substantiate, that result.
Now, with that, as we look at back to the message that says, what alternatives are there? If hopefully be guided by you, if we're thinking we want to protect our society from any, ill acts, theft, personal injury, violent crimes, that's what society wants, to be safe. And then if someone does that, punish the person. As part of what the judiciary is there for. Perhaps offer, rehabilitation, and certainly the deterrence from, future acts by that person or others. But in this instance, with the sex offenders ratio, what do we do if we were telling the public to consider a discussion, policymakers, in terms of legislation? Is there something we would say, hey, what do we do to make sure that these things are, the protection, the prevention, the rehabilitation, the punishment?
For that, I would answer that to consider this offense, sexual offense, as a public health issue.
Okay.
So having a primary prevention, tertiary prevention, secondary prevention, tertiary prevention. So this is how I think we should see it, a lens of public health issue, providing education, providing help for people who seek who are willing to seek help in form of helpline, as I was talking about, and then reintegration or rehabilitation, and having that robust programs for that.
Okay, so education, making sure that we as a society are aware of potential dangers and the like.
Dangers, and that 90% of perpetrators are not, in fact, strangers. They are someone you know.
Okay. Well, Dr. Shreya, I know your time is precious, and you have much at the Red Cross and the like. We have a break to take. Do you want to spend some more time with us, or your job and do this call and you have to get back? What works for you?
Do you want me to take a call?
Yeah, we're going to take a break, and the call hasn't come through yet. But do you have more time to stay with us? Or
Okay, I'll stay.
A couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, listen, I'm always good to be in good company. Join us after the break.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Mango season, you gotta love it. The Cayman Islands National Museum is pleased to feature Nauhria, the family-friendly Mango Fest at the museum. Saturday, July 20th from 4 to 8 p.m. Purchase mangoes and other products by local artisans and specialty vendors. Local food, live music, mango peeling, and eating competition. Take in all the sweet and unique flavors of the long, round, Julie mango, and so many more. Nauhria at the museum on the waterfront. Saturday, July 20th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Nauhria is proudly sponsored by the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Cybercrime happens online or through the technology we use every day. Anyone can be a victim of cybercrime, whether you are a young person being bullied or harassed online, or an older person or business who's been scammed out of money or personal data. Cybercrime is an issue that touches all of us. The Cayman Islands government has therefore created an online resource to help keep you cyber safe in an ever-changing world.
In online situations, it is better to be cyber safe than sorry. Learn now to protect yourself against cybercrime. Visit gov.ky/cybersafe.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And in the studio, Dr. Shreya, I probably didn't say it outset, from the Red Cross.
Yes, you didn't.
I didn't.
Initially, yeah.
No, I apologize. I thought everybody knows Dr. Shreya from the Red Cross. All right. Forgive me, and thank you again for at least the next, 7-8 minutes of your time. At the Red Cross, what does Dr. Shreya do? What's your title? So that I get it right.
I'm the child protection manager at the Red Cross, and what my main role is to educate people, the prevention aspect of abuse, child abuse. So we do trainings that are by darkness to light. There are 2 trainings, Stewards of Children and Recognizing and Reporting, which are about how to protect your children and how adults are responsible for children.
Adults, we're responsible for our children. Yes. Parent to child, coach to athlete.
Yes.
We as the adult, because that child is supposed to feel safe, with that adult.
Yes.
I'm being mindful how I say that, but sometimes we as adults, we don't do that. Not only we, the adults who do bad things to others, but we just turn a blind eye. We're complacent, negligent.
That's what education is for.
Yeah.
So you educate yourself on how to protect. If you are concerned about your children, you learn how to protect them.
Is it then?
Don't put them in vulnerable situations.
Right. But our society seems, and again, I'm going to say this deliberately to ask people to check their consciousness, right? We are seemingly willing in this society to accept, and I'm totally vehemently opposed to this. There's an adult, a parent, who's taking a child somewhere, who's watching the child to make sure the child is safe. This is what I think you do. We keep saying, it takes a village to raise a child. But when the village checks and makes sure the child can get from point A to where the child is supposed to be safely. For emphasis, I am understanding that in some Asian cultures and Japan, up until at least recently, that very young 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old can get on the public transport, the train or whatever, go to school and will be safe. Everybody's making sure that child gets there. In some jurisdictions, including the U.S., that child can't go in the front yard and play because there's a fear. Different approach on how the society sees the protection and obligations and duty of it towards the child. just to emphasize it. So in Cayman now, you got that mindset where you're looking after the child.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of us that are so foolish. Oh, you got to give the child space. No, you have to protect the child because you're the adult.
Yeah.
You're there. The child was there because you brought the child to the play. You brought the child to the sport. Why are you not there to make sure the child is okay?
Yes, and I'm again going to emphasize on the fact that 90% of perpetrators are known to you.
Right.
They're really trusted members of the family.
Yeah.
They could be mother's brother, they could be father's brothers.
Yeah.
So you trust them so much that you can leave your kids with them.
That's why you have the child in that person's care.
Yeah. So you have to be mindful that you cannot put a child in a vulnerable situation. Always avoid one-on-one situations with anybody.
Yeah. Get that child, and perhaps, as you're at the Red Cross, you talk to the child appropriately. You start to educate the child on, the things. But it's a challenge sometimes. We don't want to as the adult. Is it because we're not educated and equipped to have the appropriate conversation as to what we should be saying to the child, how we should be saying, and when? So we need to know as adults, get that information.
Yes, you have to get educated to know how to put your point across children, and if you're not comfortable telling them. But I also feel that you should be willing to do that. So I've seen that some parents would say that, no, this is not we want to tell our kids, or we don't want to label correct anatomical names. We don't want to tell them, and they will just go out and just start screaming those words. But that's not true. You educate them so that they can protect themselves.
Right. At the Red Cross, do you have such a program that maybe as adults who are listening, parents, we're like, you know what, not too late to learn, I kind of would want to know this. Do you have such a program?
So we do have a program that says My Body is My Own, which is a locally created program for Cayman. Mainly these are the teachers we provide this training to, and then they talk to children. But I'm open to, if some parents want to learn about it, our program, My Body is My Own. But this program is for children. There is a video created locally which has this blue iguana and has turtle. So you have local characters where the kids can relate to, and they talk about the consent, they talk about swimsuit rule, they talk about rules of touching.
So I could see a PTA as part of its effectiveness having such a meeting for the executive of the PTA, but for the wider school body, as for the parents, they want to bring their children along, but having an evening. The church is doing something similar for the church members.
Yes.
As an adult, as a grandparent, as a parent, this could help us.
Yes, it could help you how to word yourself, like swimsuit rule. It should be a household thing. Everybody should know what a swimsuit rule is, that nobody touches the parts that are covered by a swimsuit. And then there are rules of touching. You do not keep secrets about touching. So these kinds of messages should come across to children.
So having those conversations with the child as appropriate would help the child to be, we like to say it, empowered.
Yes.
But if the child doesn't understand because we didn't teach them, I remember someone saying, they had a pencil. And they said, if you were told that this was a rocket, or you were told this was an apple, and no one corrected you, you would think that's what it is, right? And it's just how it is. And then that may sound, kind of far-fetched, but the person, you have to be taught what is something is until you don't know otherwise.
Yes.
You're going to believe the thing it is because that's what you were taught. So proper names of your anatomy would be helpful.
Yes, it is. Because sometimes when kids complain that this happened, they are unable to label.
And that could...
And that creates like, this never happened.
Okay. All right. What else you, in closing, want to share with our listeners? I certainly appreciate you giving us this time, helping us to understand that there is a very emotionally charged component to this.
Yes.
Understandably so. But maybe there are more effective things. And maybe, if I heard you correctly, that is for us as a society to decide what is acceptable, what is our norm, how do we deal with things as a society, because in the absence, and this could be part of the challenge with the change in Cayman society, we no longer have that shared ethos where everybody subscribes to no littering in here, no chewing gum here, or no cursing there, or no, if we all have different views, then that becomes confusing. Okay.
So I would like to say that make informed decisions or have an opinion on something, like you should be educated on it. Do things that are evidence-based, because then they will be most effective. I'm not here to say if we should have our sex offenders registry or we should not have, but this is how the research is laid out, that on effectiveness of it, that it has not shown much effectiveness in terms of recidivism. So make informed choices and above all, educate yourself. Get trainings, get educated, because that's the thing that will safeguard children as well as adults.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, in your professional capacity as, the Child Protection Manager of Red Cross, coming and having this discussion. It wasn't just academic, but the manner in which it was presented allows us to think about the emotional component, but the effectiveness of it, and hopefully that will inform our future discussions as to how we proceed, how, when, why, and the desired outcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Right. Thanks, Dr. Shreya. We will have some open line after. I do my very best to try to engage Ms. Susan publicly. Because by so doing, right, another voice brings sometimes not just added clarity, but may encourage wider participation.
Of course.
So join us after the break.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Mango season, you gotta love it. The Cayman Islands National Museum is pleased to feature Nauhria, the family-friendly Mango Fest at the museum. Saturday, July 20th from 4 to 8 p.m. Purchase mangoes and other products by local artisans and specialty vendors, local food, live music, mango peeling, and eating competition. Take in all the sweet, and unique flavors of the long, round, Julie mango, and so many more. Look ya at the museum on the waterfront. Saturday, July 20th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Look ya is proudly sponsored by the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Did you know that there are over 300 public rights-of-ways to the shoreline across the 3 Cayman Islands? Now you can find them easily with the new Shoreline iMap at gov.ky/shoreline.
Cayman Islands, your input can shape our future. Plan Cayman needs your input on the updated planning statement to create a sustainable community for everyone. Help shape Cayman's future by participating in public consultations with the Central Planning Authority and the Ministries for Planning and Sustainability. Together, we can build a thriving Cayman. For details and to find the meeting closest to you, visit plancayman.ky. Your voice matters. Let's plan Cayman together.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Back. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to the Red Cross and Dr. Shreya as the Child Protection Manager over at the Red Cross for sharing some time with us. Hopefully, our objective to have a discussion about the effectiveness, not whether we should or we shouldn't or the like, but the importance of having that discussion on the sex offenders registry, recognizing from all the callers as well as the messages that this is an emotional charge, and many of the decisions to do it are driven by public opinion, which is probably led by emotion. Now, we can continue if you wish to chat. It is open line. Dr. Shreya is back to her job over at the Red Cross as the Child Protection Manager. And you can share with us whatever you wish. 949-8037. 949-6990. You can call toll free 1-800-534-8255. If you're calling, we're told that it doesn't matter, your provider, you should access it. We'd like to know that for sure. And we're grateful to Flo. I must share that the other day, we had 2 callers who were having some issues with the internet and with their phone. And it's not because they are a little older than I am. It's because they're people. And one of the fantastic employees over at Flo, for whom the job isn't quote-unquote customer service, whose job description and responsibilities actually are in another arena, heard the call and immediately responded to offer up assistance. And this is what I think makes a company great, because of great employees, but also makes a society what it is, where we hear of a need and we are probably in a position to offer assistance, or at the very least to inquire with the intent to find, a guy, find somebody who can to give that needed assistance in a timely way to those who are, affected. And that's what's good about this country. That's not, if you think otherwise, let me know. That's not being naive. That's not being idealistic. And we like to use that last word in a derogatory way. But we have to have ideals. We have to have a desire, a vision, a passion, the intent to improve ourselves and our society. If we go back to the discussion, which is, I don't know how you felt, but it was challenging to have that discussion. For some of you, more so why than others. And when we are able to ensure that a society has a shared value relative to certain things, Mr. Rupert always called in, we so rest in peace and talk about how we're littering and we're making the place so unsightly and unsafe in terms of the health concerns. And if there was a hurricane or the like, our garbage thrown about can only make it worse. That debris could become not just a danger to people because of the winds, the rain, and the floods and the like, but also after could it harbor rodents and other pestilence. And that is something that if we don't have a nasty society with its garbage thrown everywhere, that would be a good thing. But if our society is accepting of that, well, look what happens. not unlike, or let me be more, direct. That would be just like if on our roads we accept the bad behavior. The drivers who decide that they want to get where they want to go and they don't care whether anybody else gets there safely. So they're zipping down the center lane and they're taking you on the shoulder of the road, not overtaking, they say undertaking. Not interesting word that we use. But that piece of road between you and the bush or the sidewalk or the other part where you think, you just pull off, that person is not just coming on your left, they come in full speed, putting men at risk. That potential pedestrian who may want to cross, or that cyclist who's in that side because it's off the road, whether there's a cycle lane that's marked or not. But that behavior is accepted. Wow. What does that say about us? Or the person who is going to zip in and out, of lanes just to get where they're going. Whether there's a solid or, line or a double, solid line. Don't care for it, don't know what it means, and ignores it. A lot of things that happen in society happen because we turn a blind eye. We're accepting of it. And we call on politicians to be tougher on crime. We want more policing. But if the society isn't doing what it's supposed to do and it's accepting of the things that are not in keeping with a safe civil society, what does that say about the rest of us? 949-8037, 949-6990. You can call us on the toll free 1-800-534-8255. I want to know when you do, if that's the number you're calling from, whether that's working for you. Really, really grateful, for those opportunities. And then you can also call using the WhatsApp, 925-3261. But it has to be a WhatsApp call if you call that cell line, because if it isn't, we cannot answer it to put you on the air. You can WhatsApp, you can send a voice note, or you can call using the 925-3261 on the WhatsApp. It's open line as we go through this Thursday, and we'll take a couple of calls as soon as we take a couple of calls. Want to hear from you. Challenge anything I say. Question it. If you want to agree, hey, that's fine. Doesn't matter. If you disagree, let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Sterling. How you doing? Happy Thursday. I almost said Friday.
Listen, happy Thursday and happier Friday and even happier Saturday and then Sunday. And like a little Sunday, Monday.
No, you can't say happy Sunday. You have to be blessed Sunday.
Hey,
you
there you
You
go.
do not want to offend the church people. Come on now.
Well.
Now.
I hear you, man. I hear you. But listen, every day is a good day. And let's give thanks for it. Because what they say, this is the day the Lord has made, man.
Yeah. So listen, you were talking about, people not abiding by the rule laws and the traffic laws, correct?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing of it is, if you look at it, I leave my district to come to town sometimes at 3:45 in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. And if you notice, most fatalities is around that time, right? And around 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, there's very limited traffic police cars on the road that time in the morning, right? Before, I know when back in the day, you had more traffic awareness or more traffic police vehicles on the road making themselves situation awareness. Now, I know that with the last, and I remember you had the superintendent or whatever on board a couple, like last week. Well, one of the questions I need to ask is that the last chief or whatever of inspector that was in charge of the police department before the gentleman took it over, he had the police vehicles have on their blue lights, driving. That's not going to deter anything. The crime rate has not dropped at all, right? Crime rate is constantly on the increase. The purpose of them having those lights on is benign. That has no purpose at all. I think that if they're not doing, yes, they do side traffic stops and for DUIs and stuff, which is, really good. but they're not doing any speed traps like how they used to. You don't see the motorcycles up and down in the road, like unless they're, you have some high, person come in to the island, and then that's when they're using the motorcycles. So you don't have much of the bikes on the road anymore. You still have kids riding up and down, wheeling back and forth in the middle of traffic. God forbid that something happens. You only have 2 undercover police cars that are traffic police cars, and I think they should, instead of them investing in CRVs and everything else, is get couples that are undercover that it could use as traffic that would blend in with the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Well, as I listen to you, a couple of things, and I'm looking at one message. I was just responding to the person to ask how to, navigate that conversation, to share it, because it sort of ties in with what you shared. We got the news break, and I'll quickly. Do you want, and are you able
to go ahead and hold.
To stay on? Now remind me, right? Because it's about the police and the lights and the use of the sirens, and this person is saying, hopefully I didn't misread it. Why is it only that when the high-profile people are in? All right, I would imagine that those who live and work here are as important and should be as important as some mutt that comes from somewhere just because that person has a title. I mean, I want us to be all important, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, let's talk about that when we come back. Join us after the news. Please stay tuned.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. The Honourable Premier Juliana O'Connor Connolly responded swiftly to the urgent needs of the Eastern Caribbean, leading a delegation early Tuesday to Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This mission underscores the Cayman Islands' commitment to providing aid to those impacted by Hurricane Beryl at the onset of the hurricane season. The relief effort involved transporting approximately 17,500 pounds of cargo, valued at over $100,000 US via Cayman Airways, the national airline of the Cayman Islands. In international news, a Dublin-based food support charity has said it is over the moon after a cash donation from global superstar Taylor Swift. The singer visited the Irish capital for 3 sold-out shows in June in the Aviva Stadium. It was previously reported that a charity in Dublin had received upward of €25,000. Crosscare received confirmation that they would be a beneficiary on Wednesday. The charity works for those in food poverty, provides homeless services, helps asylum seekers, and offers counseling across the city. United Airlines has apologized to NFL Hall of Fame legend Terrell Davis after the 2-time Super Bowl champion said he was wrongly handcuffed on a flight to California. Mr. Davis said he was removed from a United Airlines aircraft last Saturday after a flight attendant accused the former Denver Broncos star of hitting him. The 51-year-old who was flying with his family from Denver spoke about his ordeal on social media. He said the claim was false and described feeling traumatized by it. United Airlines told the BBC it had removed the flight attendant from duty while it investigates the matters and reviews its policies. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Cayman Islands, your opportunity to shape our future continues. Join us for public consultations on July 18th in East End at the William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center, July 22nd in Cayman Bragg, July 25th in Savannah Newlands at the Savannah United Church, and July 29th in Northside at the Northside Civic Center. Don't forget our virtual session on July 18th on CIG Facebook and YouTube Live. All consultations will be broadcast live on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and online at radiocayman.gov.ky. Submit your questions via slido.com. Let's work together for a sustainable future. For more details, visit plancayman.ky. Be part of the change.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. It is Open Line, and to the fine gentleman, thank you for hanging on as we went to the news. As you were saying, all right, talk to us and let's hear from you.
All right, so here's the thing that I have, right? Now, I understand that the police are going to use their blue lights if they're going to be coming into a residential neighborhood, Frank Hall home scheme or whatever, so people could, see a car driving into a neighborhood and they could say, identify that is a police car coming in, so we don't have to worry or whatever. You see a car coming in. Fair enough. But when you're on the road, and for an example, I know that Spot Street. I'm sorry, whatever name they choose it. So.
Yeah.
But
that's Shamrock they call it though, Spot Street,
yeah,
right?
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and where is it anywhere that they, and that's the other thing that the Neiman Road that doesn't make any sense. Shamrock, where's the Shamrock anywhere on that road?
Well, again, it's back to us, right? Why we allow. I'll give it as an example, right?
I mean, you had Crew Road, which was from where the old Frank Flowers building used to be, to the Block Factory, up until you got to Tropical Garden, and then you had, Spots. You had Spots, Newlands. You could identify. You had Low Valley, but now everything is Shamrock Road. Accident on Shamrock Road. Where on Shamrock Road? If you say accident at Lower Valley, there's an accident at Lower Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Spot Street, there's an accident on Spot Street. But when you say Shamrock Road, but that's a whole different topic. But
yeah.
What I'm saying to you, if a police vehicle is coming on Shamrock by Spot Street, right, by the Spot Stock, and you're coming around the corner up by Crichton property, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that car, and if you're doing anything illegal, speeding or reckless driving, whatever, or even if you're under the influence of alcohol, you're going to straighten up for that little brief second and go, let me stay straight. Let me do this. Let me pretend like I pulled over. Let me do that. So you're avoiding the situation.
So I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding you. Are you saying that the police vehicles, when they have their blue lights on, this is not the siren, this is they're driving now?
No, the blue lights,
right?
The one that
on the roof,
blue running lights,
right? I want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding you. They have that on. They're driving normally as they go about. You're saying that's an effective deterrent? Is that what you're sharing?
That's a deterrent because guess what? If you're speeding and you're coming up the road speeding, you can see that blue light coming. Say you're speeding up on the straight and you coming towards
right,
and they're coming around a corner. You're going to see that light refracting off of another vehicle coming around that corner.
And so that's just the police presence on the roads.
That'll give me a chance to slow down.
Right. Okay. And then having that light increases visibility and may cause you, the road user, to, maybe just do the right thing.
Which country in the world, including England, has those lights on?
Is that a practice? I mean, I remember one of the police commissioners, I think it was the one prior to the one that was here last, saying that was going to be their practice because it was a good thing. Are you saying that that's only Cayman that does that?
You see it does in Miami? Do you see it?
I'm not the best person to ask because, boy, I haven't been off island in a while, other than the day I was off island. That was to somewhere where there's no English police, so I don't know.
If you stand corrected,
Yeah.
someone could send you a message in the messenger or WhatsApp. It has not been done in England.
Okay.
Right? It has not deterred any crime that's going on in Cayman. People are still breaking into homes. But crimes are still being committed. So it's not deterring anything.
Okay. So let me then ask you. Sorry. I want to make sure. Earlier I asked and you said, yes, that's a good practice with the lights on. Now you're saying that it's not a deterrent. Am I misunderstanding you or you?
What I'm saying, no.
Okay.
It's not a good practice to have the lights on because by you having the lights on, and I've questioned this numerous times. If you have the lights on coming into a residential neighborhood, so say you coming into one of Frank Hall's schemes.
Yeah, but why not somebody that we think is better? I mean, okay, let me come back to that because I want to pick up on that. But go ahead. So let's in a residential area. Talk to me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're coming into a residential area, say a gated community or a residential or Frank Hall home or one of those schemes where people could identify a vehicle. Say, for example, you're coming in and you might have called the police. Someone can identify a police car coming into a neighborhood. Where when you're on the highway, it deters everything, bro.
Yeah. Well, okay. So not going to belabor it, and I certainly don't impose on you. We'll take the next call in a second. But why? And I don't have the research in front of me, but I remember someone referring to me in the U.S. That was a statistic they used. The most the police presence in certain areas were where they had the highest arrests and stuff, but they were probably not the areas where it was the most crime, but just because the police were there. So, you say Frank Hall homes, but I can think of some places in Cayman that probably more crime go on, but because they're buying gated communities.
What I'm saying, like housing schemes and residential schemes where you have a lot of homes together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessary Frank Hall homes because everybody has schemes that every neighborhood has a scheme now.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is that when you have what you would consider a highway patrol police vehicle on the highway going towards East End, there's not enough traffic police cars, and I do not blame the traffic unit for this, but there's not enough traffic vehicles. You see a lot of if you look at the new police vehicles right now, you have tons of community police vehicles. You have tons of other vehicles, but you only have 2 undercover police vehicles that are unmarked vehicles.
Okay.
Where they should have a couple more of unmarked vehicles where they could be driving in public. You would know that it's a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you might say, well, okay, that might be a Ford truck, but you might know that is an undercover vehicle. Right now in Florida and Florida and other places in the States, and also in the UK. In the UK, they have BMWs, they have other vehicles. They have loads of undercover vehicles.
Yeah.
Right? And, I mean, they even have little Suzukis and whatever,
I hear you. But maybe it comes back to how society... Before I take this other call, any quickly you want to share?
No, I just think that we have to have more presence. The crime rate is going up. Nothing is being done about it. And we can hear all the glory of people traveling and everything else. But we have to look at our future, our society,
right.
And we have to stop being with the systemic of the society of the way that it used to be.
All right. I'll share with the next caller the comment I had, but thanks for sharing that, okay?
Not a problem.
All right. Talk to you very soon. And appreciate the call as we take the next. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Afternoon. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Sterling, I called you just less than 2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, in regards to police presence and these lights on the police cars.
Uh-huh.
Didn't I?
You did?
Yes, so we're not having enough presence of police officers on the road, and going east especially, there's not that many police cars you can see on the road. And if you do see one, you've seen this light before, you see the car. Yeah?
I hear you. Well, okay, go on. But I mean, is the answer more police? Is the answer more police with more guns? I mean, when are we going to accept responsibility for us and figure out that a safe society is one where we don't need that stuff?
Sterling, I'm going to say something to Sterling, sweetheart. I hope you don't get mad at me calling that on air.
No, unless you... No.
The population is growing rapidly.
So let's get rid of the population.
Our island is changing rapidly for the worse. People are not abiding by our rules and regulations that we do have few of, which we do need more, and they need to put some serious charges on our rules and regulations for things to, I would say, become a little bit better. So having more police could help and probably don't help. And like the guy said, we need more unmarked cars on our roads. Because then when we see that light coming a mile away, he got changed your mind about stealing something and wait till the car crossing and go and do the crime. You understand? I spoke to a police officer, and they told me that it is foolishness to have those lights on these cars. And this is an officer now saying this. It is garbage to have these lights on the cars because then it's not really doing anything for the community. And I appealed to Mr. Walton just on your station a couple of weeks ago to look into these lights that are on these cars and have them removed or have them turned off, because some people say they call police to come to their place for a purpose, and they are coming with a flashing light, and when they come to your house or your business, they got these flashing lights still continue going on. I'll never forget, one day I was, it's a good while now, I was riding my bicycle, and this is a good while, and this officer went all the way down and turned around and came back to me and told me that I'm riding on the wrong side, and he had his flashers on and everything. I told him, I said, sir, I didn't commit no crime, and I said there's no need to have these flashers on. I am riding my bicycle. He can come and tell me that I'm riding on the wrong side. And I told him, I said, sir, I don't know if I'm riding on the wrong side or the right side, but I'm going to ride facing the car, because if a car is coming towards me, I have a chance, I would say, to try to save my own life.
Yeah, I my understanding that if you are riding a bicycle, right, you're supposed to ride with the traffic and treat, your bicycle in terms of when it comes to stop signs and the traffic signs and the like you're a car. Don't ride on the sidewalk. But I can understand your fear in that you can see the car coming. But that speaks to how we as motorists disregard, somehow even, ignore the presence of a cyclist or a pedestrian. Again, a bigger issue that society has that we're ignoring.
A lot of stuff is being ignored, and this is what growth brings, and we are not taking it serious, and it needs to be taken serious. I want to say that at my residence, we have some cones out there, because then we got a sitting policeman a little bit from my house, and we got people coming out trying to ride across the sitting policeman. Is going to go to my garbage and my hedging, so we got some cones there, right? This morning, to my surprise, someone put a bottle in the cone mouth. Literally, in my garbage bins are right there, and they decided to put the stick, a Guinness bottle, I think it is, into the mouth of the cone and left it right there and going about their business. The Caymanians are doing the same thing what they see the rest of the people come here and do. And you can't tell them, well, don't do it. You know what I tell you? Oh, well, the foreigners come and do it. I can do it too. That's not the way to look at your island. You got to take pride in your island.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I know you probably want to go, but I just came out of Bordentown.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, Bordentown looks so unpresentable. So unpresentable. That is our first capital, Sterling. And nothing is being done to this Bordentown district and first capital. I'm not going to say no more about that because I'm quite sure 99.9% of the people are driving through Bordentown on a daily basis, and they're seeing a lot of civil rights situation into Bordentown.
Mm-hmm.
No person in the government, in the MPs for that area, is not seeing that this place is upgraded, is being kept clean. The garbage is out of control. The limbs, I guess, from the hurricane seat that we just had the other day, it just needs a super cleaning up in Bordentown.
Mm-hmm.
See where I'm coming from?
And maybe we start there and continue. I appreciate what you're sharing, all right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll take the next call, but thanks so much, okay? Oh, I got a break to take. Okay. Final break, then the caller. Thank you so much for calling, and to the caller, respectfully, hang on.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments July 22nd to the 25th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com. That's drportercayman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Our climate is changing, and so is Cayman. Stronger and more frequent hurricanes, longer periods of drought, sea level rise, and higher temperatures are already impacting our communities. If we take nature into account before we act, we can harness nature's benefits and reduce the devastation caused by natural disasters. Because when we put nature front and center, nature can provide the solutions.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And possibly 2 calls. Maybe an opportunity for us to take 2 final. Let's take the next. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, my friend. That's a familiar voice. Been too long. We haven't heard from you, man. How are you?
No worries, man. No, I was just listening on the tail end of the show. Obviously, I caught the gentleman that was talking about the police lights, but I would just like to share my opinion in regards to that. And I heard Miss Jan talking earlier. But what I would say in respect to that is that I think that the lights on the police cars is a good thing. Certainly, the caller before Miss Jan highlighted that if you're driving down the road on a straight road and you see a police light in the distance, you then naturally straighten up and fly right. So that's a deterrent. That's actually an effective way of keeping drivers on their P's and Q's.
Which is what the gentleman was saying, at least I thought I heard him say as well. So
Right.
I wasn't quite sure if yeah. But I agree with you.
Right. No, I like I said, and then Miss Jan referenced, if a thief see a police light come in, they stop, and then when they leave, they continue. But then, if the police light wasn't there, they would have continued without stopping.
Right.
But at least the police come and give them a pause, and maybe the owners or maybe they might get deterred and don't do it at all. Yeah. So I think that the police lights on the cars are a brilliant idea. I don't care if anywhere else in the world doing it.
Mhm.
Why we always got to be doing what the rest of the world doing? That's half of our problem now.
If it's not working, right? Well, why we,
And certainly I do not have an issue, so I would encourage Mr. Kurt Walton, the Commissioner of Police, to leave those lights on and create the presence that we have within the communities with those lights on. I don't have a problem. And I'm not trying to speak for everyone, but I think that those lights are a positive thing. And no hurt to have them on is what I'm saying.
Right. But let me then, in supporting what you shared, two people wrote in, and let me paraphrase and say, we as a community sometimes would complain that the police is dodging somewhere, to catch you speeding, as opposed to the general perception that they would be more effective, they will cover more ground and deterring if they were patrolling, right? Driving up and down the road, they're visibly present. So if we want the police to be visibly present and covering more ground instead of hiding in the bush and jumping at you, just put it that way, having the lights, as you shared, makes them much more visible for much of a greater distance, and that might be more effective in deterring more of us, right?
Well, here's the thing with police roadblocks and police checkpoints and police speed traps, right? Listen, we live in a technology age, Sterling. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
If someone falls off a roof right now, within 10 minutes, everybody on Facebook and social media knows about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are chat groups that have police awareness thing, and I can tell you they're all over. But you know what? You know the silver lining of having those chat groups is because people are aware where all the police are, so therefore they conduct themselves in a lawful manner.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's a benefit from it. Now, otherwise, we could not have any access to any of that. We could not have the police lights on, and we can be playing the fool all the time and get caught, and probably in the process end up hurting somebody doing so.
Well, we have two messages that support and agree with what you're saying. They say leave the lights on. It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. And again, I'm not too particularly caring about who else do it around the world. And one other thing I would just add, because I thought I heard you mention you have another caller, so I don't want to hold you up too long.
Thank you.
I just want to say this, and I think what Mr. Walton, I think, needs to focus on, not only the crime. I'm sure he's doing his best to deal with the crime, and you can't stamp it out completely. You can only do what you can with the resources that you have. But what I will say is this to the police force and to the powers to be: all of the electric scooter, bicycle riders on the road, they need to put them in check. They need to put policies in place to let them know where they can ride, how they can ride. I've seen people on roundabouts cutting across, riding in the middle of the road, no brake lights, no indicators, no nothing, and they're motorized by batteries, which means they're self-propelled and they don't have a license or insurance. So what happens when one of these electric bikes run into somebody's car? Who insurance can pay for that? Because these bicycles and these electric bicycles are not insured or licensed to be on the road, which means the driver then end up, and let me tell you something, it don't always have to be the driver's fault. I've seen these guys riding the road as if they own the road, and they're not even licensed to be on the road, and the allocated space on the side of the road where it says bike lane, I've seen them ride outside of the bike lane. So, it has to be a fair pivot where we understand. So now that we're seeing more and more electric cycles, we need to put some policies in place in order to safeguard the public on a whole, because I've seen them flying across the crosswalk. They hit the button and they fly across on the electric scooters. What happened to the person, that pedestrian, that walking? What if they run into one of those people?
Yeah. It is something that is being ignored that I think, as you shared, is going to pose significant injury and liability to many of us. So thanks for highlighting that.
Yeah, so I'll leave you there, Sterling. Have a good one.
All right. Talk to you very soon, hopefully. And one final call on the WhatsApp. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, me again. Sir.
Hey, welcome back, man. I think you're going to be the last caller.
Oh, I always get lucky. But
last should be first, they say.
Yeah, I don't want to make it too long though, because I still want to support with the lights for the police vehicles as well. Let me tell you, I'm not gonna be against the whole undercover thing neither. But to Miss John, I guess that who is a caller before this last caller, I think that she doesn't understand how the deterrence is so important on a safe island, knowing that we don't need any force towards having people being probably profiled. And when you see, like, say for example, let me use myself as an example, because it don't make no sense to hypothetically speak and type of thing in these issues, right? I was several years ago, let's just say, I think it was 2015. I was driving along the highway, and me and my friend was making ourselves obligated that there's no more speeding needed on this island because we lost too much friends on the road because of speeding. And we said, you know what, as long as we going home together, we're going to drive side by side at 40 miles an hour. Anybody willing to go faster than that, they can wait till we going off on another road. But other than that, they can't. You know, Mr. Sterling, the worst part about it was that the fact that this was the time before they made it mandatory that you can drive with, that you have to be on the road with these lights on as a police officer. No, I still see a few of them driving without this lights on, although it's supposed to be that they're driving with their lights on, right? But this time they never had the lights mandatory. So this car behind us was flashing their high beams. Now, there's a difference. High beams, flashing their high beams to get out the way. We're going 40 miles an hour on the highway, right?
Yeah.
So this is like 1 o'clock in the morning, to be exact. This was just after 12 o'clock. We're heading to East End. And this is the problem now. The police officer willing to wait long enough after we refuse to pull over on the side because you're going too fast. We say, we got to pull you over now with our traffic lights. So they use their siren lights on to pull me over now to say, why you driving slow in the fast lane for?
But you're going the speed limit.
But my point exact.
Okay.
They say, you have your license, your registration, all these things. I present what I had to present it. And just because I got my license in 2010, right? I swear that they look at it and say, well, you don't understand. They give you young Caymanians their license for. And I say, oh, that what it is about. I say, you know what? I would like to get the ticket for what I've done. And they say, well, you're lucky I never had no tickets on me. I said, then what you pull me over for? And because of the fact that they have people that tyrannize people, especially ones that are law-abiding citizens, and they get infraction. I mean, I guess they in their way or whatever they want to do, and they're such a rush, right? That they think that they can give a problem to these people with no reason, and they use this idea hiding behind with none of these lights showing, and they still do it up to today. I'm pretty sure they will do this type of incident, and for no reason without their lights on. And I don't think they should be profiling people on the road.
Yeah.
Look for the speeders. Look for the people that are doing the wrong. Look for the people that are overtaking in a heavy traffic area. Look for those people. Stop pulling over people just because they're doing something in your way. And that's like a police service. That's like an order. Look here, they're serving us. You know?
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, what you share raises a lot of concerns relative to how our society responds to things. Those of us in the power and authority, how we exercise that. But it has to be the community understanding, its rights and responsibilities, man. Anything else you share before we close out today?
To put that out, I am support of the traffic lights, man. I am support of it, and they need more of them actually.
Okay.
We're still underemployed. I guess that the police service need to hire more Caymanians that actually understand our law.
Yeah. Well.
Caymanize the police service, man.
Yeah. Okay.
And I saying that very politely, sir. And I just aggravated because just like the sexual harassment issue, we have a problem with our police service.
Yeah. All right. Listen, thank you very much. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Enjoy it and talk to you very soon. All right. Okay. One of our listeners says non-flashing illuminated lights on a police vehicle indicate a working unit. And to that last caller, perhaps there are times when we look at our roads. I've seen instances where I'm driving at the speed limit and a vehicle, comes up very fast behind me. Not a police vehicle, not a vehicle that I recognize. I've happens more than once. Sometimes the vehicle is heavily tinted, not just the windshield. I don't know what's the right word, but that's the one in the front where you're supposed to drive in and looking forward instead of. Maybe you call it the windscreen. But when it overtook me, it's on the side. Sometimes I was overtaken on the left side, on that shoulder, and sometimes on the right side into oncoming traffic. Driving, at the speed limit, and to have the car behind me blow this horn and wants to get out of the way. Now, maybe that person was, desirous of going somewhere quickly. I don't know. But only to say that our society seems to ignore how dangerous, we are sometimes when there are vehicles. I gather from some that we are now going to take Honda Fits off the road because the Honda Fit is a bad car. Well, is it the vehicle or is it the driver? No, if it's an unsafe vehicle because it has, not been properly maintained, it's not roadworthy. That's a different something. But is it the vehicle or is it the driver? Well, many things are issues, and it's the question as to how we as a society respond. Many of the callers, as shared by many of the messages, support the view that the police is, much more effective with the lights being illuminated as they, patrol the streets and drive up and down. That would be just a quick consensus from the messages. A very effective means, perhaps more so than, hiding in the bushes as we will have the speed traps. But again, it comes back to us. Shouldn't we be sensible and safe and considerate, civil, and just law-abiding? Driving within the speed limit, driving in a safe, sensible way that is, gets us there. Or are we like many places? I really don't care. The laws don't apply to us. All right. A lot more I would and could say, but maybe it's best I don't because, it's not yet Friday. 3 things. 1, the Royal Cayman Police is having that kind of amnesty on. The flyer in front of me says, handing all illegal guns and ammunition without fair prosecution. Hand them in. Don't make them catch you with it. It goes until the 31st of July. Says, say no to guns, say no to violence, make the Cayman Islands safer. There's some ways we could do that, but that's a one start. So remember, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're out and about and you won't have your vehicle, your gun in the back of your vehicle properly packaged, and you're taking it to the police, and it's, they're going to say, hey, no, you can't say you're going to take it because it's not there. And if it's outside of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., like Chief Superintendent Dwayne Ebanks shared, they're going to arrest you and you're going to be charged. So don't use it as an excuse. Hand in your legal ammunition. And then, thanks to Dr. Shreya, very sobering, very sad statistic. This is probably global and probably U.S. in particular. Did you know, the flyer says, 1 in 10 children are sexually abused before their 18th birthday. Thank you for coming on to talk about the Sex Offenders Registry. Tomorrow, Swanky is traveling. Next week, we'll have the members of the band in the studio. And then 1 p.m., Mr. Kenneth Ebanks comes back and we're going to talk about the Plan Cayman together with some members of the West Bay community. They're having some meetings. One is coming up on Monday. Well, if God's willing, he'll join us tomorrow in the studio at 1 p.m. Swanky is at 12. Susan going to be with me? She said, yeah, boy. So it's going to be a good day. Listen, have a great day. Together we're going to make things happen, but if we don't do it, who will? And if we don't do it now, when? And if you think that you can make a difference, well, that's because, you don't have the faith, man. We can do this. Join me tomorrow, God's willing. Join Mr. Art first, though, in the morning for the record. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman.